We are live. What's happening, y'all? Welcome back. This is the Creatia Conversation, the number one news source on Pornhub for all that nerd-ish. Today is February 6th, 2023. I am your host, Lord Cussalot Travis Pointer, a.k.a. the Dragon King, a.k.a. Big T, a.k.a. T Money, a.k.a. Sweet T, a.k.a. Black Merlin, a.k.a. DHNIC. And I'm joined today by a very special guest, as I told y'all Friday night, my new best friend at the Will Gray. How you doing, Will?
Travis, always a pleasure, my friend. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, nice breaking the mold, getting in and talking about something other than wrestling every now and then. I love these conversations.
You know, I love having you for these conversations. What you been up to lately? What you been playing? I know I saw you on Friday, but you know.
Over the weekend, I started cracking back into. I played a little bit of Minecraft. Some. They put out some new patches and stuff, and I'm kind of one of those, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, you ever have a game that no matter how much you play, you always go back to it in waves? Like, you'll just spend time playing it. That's the way Minecraft is with me. So I've played some Minecraft, got into the new Call of Duty with all the updates with that too. So I've been a lot of multiplayer right now.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of been my jam for the last few days.
Yeah, with the whole waves thing. I'm kind of like that with not Pokemon. Nintendo, Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Where I'll just like I won't touch it for like months. And then all of a sudden I'll pick it up and I'm playing it for like 3 weeks straight. And it's just like, why did I start doing this again? I don't know. But yeah. Like, they actually just dropped some new courses on there too, not too long ago. And I haven't picked it up since they did. I need to, just so I can check them out. They have these new waves of courses that are coming out. They're like kind of like throwbacks to old courses.
Yeah.
So like the last one I played and they dropped some stuff. One of them was like Chocolate Thunder Mountain from Mario Kart 64 back in the day. And they're just like, oh snap, that's in there now. They got the old Rainbow Road on there and shit. So it's just one of those I got to get back into.
I need to drop my my friend code then, because
You do.
I want all the smoke when it comes to Mario Kart.
Oh, I'll always take smoke in Mario Kart, so we need to definitely get in there. Nothing new I'm watching lately. We got some stuff that's coming soon that I will be watching, like the new season of Carnival Row is coming next week. So I'm like, oh, I'm down for that. It's a show on Amazon Prime. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not.
No, not yet.
Yeah, it's kind of like a steampunk fantasy kind of thing. There's fairies and shit, and there's like these satyrs or fawns, whatever you want to call them. They got like ram's horns, so they're not like deer, like rams, and they got built in the bottom like all that like goats and shit. But yeah, all kinds of different creatures and stuff in there. This Orlando Bloom is the star of it, so get to see that pretty man. And yeah, that's coming back. Shadow and Bone comes out about a month later on Netflix, so that's coming back. So a few things that are coming soon that I'm looking forward to getting back into. However, I understand that you are now watching something new, Mr. Will Gray.
I did. I was going to save it. You and I talked on Friday. We said something about me coming in and pounding through The Last of Us, and wow, am I glad I did.
I'm glad you did too.
It was we talked about it on Friday a little bit. I played the games. Like, that was the whole reason I switched to PlayStation from Xbox, was because it was a PlayStation exclusive, all the bells and whistles, 4K, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, hell yeah, let's get it. Let's play through it. So having played the game, my plan was, let's just wait for season 1 to drop. We'll just binge it through a couple days. That way you don't have that. I'm one of those anxious people when I'm starting a show, and then we get to that point, now I'm caught up and I have to wait the week to find out what's going to happen next. That's why I'll wait for the whole season to drop. Then I can just do it all in one.
I get it.
But man, what a show.
So yeah, it's phenomenal. Like I haven't played the games, but I'm familiar kind of with the game and what it's about and some of the stuff that happens in it and all of that. I haven't played it myself. I know people who have. My nephew's played through it multiple times. He talks to me about it all the time, trying to get me to start playing. And I keep saying I'm going to, and I just never get around to it. It's a thing. Um, but yeah, this most recent episode though, it was interesting. Good big change of pace from the last episode,
For
which was
sure.
a very big change of pace from the episodes before, which makes this gives a whole new layer to why this show is so good, because it's like it's not just the same shit over and over again. Like they are bringing you different types of stories while still making it one connected story that makes sense and that's well told, which the original game I imagine was just very well written anyway. Um, so this one they make it their way to Kansas City, which I understand is different from the game. I guess in the game they're in Pittsburgh.
They were, I don't remember them going that far west at all. There have been small pieces of the game, like the museum and stuff like that, where they're like big focal points of the game that they've made sure to incorporate into the show. Um, but I definitely know, I don't remember them being in Kansas City at all in the first game. The
Right.
first game takes place all on the East Coast.
Okay. Okay. What else since you've played through the games and you've seen all the episodes, and I've been kind of waiting to have this conversation with somebody. What are other things that you noticed throughout that, like, make it differ from the way the game presents things versus the way the show does? Like things that maybe in different orders, or maybe things that happen in the show that didn't happen in the game. I know the whole Bill and Frank thing is all new, but
Yeah, that's all added content. Amazing. I'm really enjoying the backstory behind it, like getting the flashbacks before it happened, finding out about the lab in Indonesia. And I don't want to repeat too much because we're 4 weeks into the show now, but it's also fresh to me.
yeah,
I
that's
like
fine.
so
Go
much
ahead.
of I like so much of the callbacks to where they're kind of filling in the gaps that maybe the game couldn't fill in because of, time restraints or content or however you want to look at building the game
Or even,
itself.
yeah, even it's just a video game, so it really wouldn't
Yeah,
make sense for you to spend a whole lot of time on these random people in Indonesia when you're supposed to be playing as Joel and Ellie, because it'd be you just sitting and watching when you're supposed to be playing. So
bingo. So getting the backstory on so much of it is such a cool twist. I like how they're building. It reminds me of like watching a Quentin Tarantino movie in the sense that you're getting these little sub stories built around each other. And then from episode 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3, and then 3 to 4, you slowly start seeing how the stories connect and piece together.
how it all fits together,
Yeah,
yeah.
because Nick Offerman's character, then all of a sudden Joel just shows up at lunch that day with him and Tess, and it's like, oh, okay, so they're kind of weaving the pattern. So I hope they continue that as the series continues, where they
Mhm.
start the web of characters just progressively gets bigger and bigger, and they're doing such a good job of stacking it so you're not getting overwhelmed too quick.
Yeah, we got I like seeing the way they're portraying Ellie. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly how it's done in the game, but like she actually feels appropriate, like the appropriate age in this show. Because a lot of times you see kids in either movies and TV shows or whatnot, they either act way younger than they're supposed to, or they act way older than they're supposed to. Most of the time, they never really act their appropriate age, because it's honestly it's hard to write for that.
Yeah.
But it's like she's at a stage where like the writers of the producers of the show or whatever were talking. I was listening to an interview they did where she's at that stage of what they called and I quote, "fuck you, tuck me in."
Yeah.
So it's just like they want to push back and fight and all that kind of stuff, and want to like acknowledge what I am. I'm growing up and all that kind of stuff, but I'm still a kid. Love me,
They still
Like,
want you to come rub their belly when their tummy
yeah,
hurts.
exactly.
Like I've got a 13-year-old daughter, man. I get it. Like they hate you all the time until they need you, and then they love you more than anything. That's just how kids work,
Right.
you know? So I
Yeah.
think they're doing a good job. One of my favorite things they did was how blown away she is by the small things, the seatbelt, the coffee,
Right. Because she
like
never experienced it. She doesn't
exactly,
know.
because
Like,
her life is nothing but post the fungus. That's
yeah.
all she knows. So Joel is trying to explain to her like the real world. So like seeing that connection in the fourth episode was super cool.
Hmm. Yeah. That was the real, like, it's there, like you said, the small things. The seatbelt was the one that really got me last episode. Just like, put your seatbelt on. She's like, what the fuck are you
What?
talking about?
She was like, it's like getting in a spaceship. And then you think about like a late 90s S10, in 2023 to us is like archaic in a lot of automobile ways. But to a person who had never even been in a car, she's like, holy shit, like
Yeah,
blown away by it.
right. And didn't even realize, like, the whole conversation they had about airplanes before. It was just like, you know, those people, they crashed and all that. And he was talking about how miserable people were when they were flying. But she was like, yeah, but you were flying through the sky, dude.
Yeah.
It's just like, if you really think about it, she's right. Like, as much as we complain, as much as we get irritated with airline travel and all that, we forget to really just acknowledge the fact, like, yo, we're about to soar through the sky. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That was just cool. Like the presentation of somebody in the future, even though it's our current time, but the way it's portrayed is the future. For somebody in the future to not know things like that, seatbelts, coffee, airplanes,
By
the
the way,
way
I
the
agree with
whole
her about
world is
coffee.
just
I don't like it at all.
at
It's
all,
just, I
any
don't.
kind.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that has to be done right for me.
It's like, it smells like burnt shit. I'm like, I wouldn't go that far, but there are times when I've tasted it multiple times. I'm like, I don't know, it just tastes like chalk. And then somebody was like, how do you know what? I'm like, I don't, but I imagine if I were to taste chalk, it would taste like this.
It tastes like bitter, sad water. You have to fill it with milk and sugar and flavorings to get it to where it's tolerable anyways. Like when I find people who drink just straight midnight black coffee with nothing in it, I'm like, who hurt you?
That's my mother.
Yeah.
She puts a little bit of sugar in it. That's it. And it's not even a lot. She just a couple teaspoons of sugar and that's it.
I couldn't do it. I can shoot whiskey, tequila, no problem. Don't have a bitter face. But you hand me a cup of coffee, man. That's just not my bag. I can't do it.
Oh, I know. I'm just, it blows my mind every time I see it. I'm just like, how do you do this every day? But this particular episode, let's talk about episode 4 really. Just how this starts off with them just traveling and all that kind of thing, and him siphoning the gas out, and him like talking to Ellie about, like, so you do this and this, and she was like, oh, so you really don't understand how it works, right?
Yeah, she just kind of called him on his bullshit. Like, so you don't actually know this, right?
Yeah, and actually, I remember learning in school how that works, and I know it has something to do with like building air pressure and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know exactly how anymore. I probably could have told you back in the 4th grade when they explained it to me, but I don't know now. But I know I could do it now if I needed to. I just don't really know how it works anymore. But there was that, and the running thing with the joke book was getting me every time, because I don't know, it's just, I enjoy bad jokes. I love bad jokes. The dumber the joke, the better, as long as he's like, I get it. That was okay. And I'll laugh. And the moment when he finally breaks and laughs when she does the diarrhea joke, because what was it that I was watching before? It was Family Guy. I was watching Family Guy, and one of the writers on there was talking about it in the DVD commentary, because that's the kind of person I am. I watch stuff with the DVD commentary on because I want to just hear what they have to say about the shit they made. I just think it's cool.
For sure.
And who said, like, listen, the 3 funniest things in the world are diarrhea, poop, and farts. And I'm just like, you're right. If it comes out of your butt, it's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty much nonstop funny.
Yeah. And that was what got him. When it came out of the butt, that's when he laughed. And the thing is, if you think about it, since his daughter died, even before that, since the world started falling apart, we haven't seen him smile until then. And that's when Ellie breaks him, and I'm just like, okay.
He's been presented as a stone cold character ever since the passing of his daughter. The immediate clip when he goes into that first scene when we see him in the future with Tess and they're taking the bodies out of the back of the truck. Like, he looks presented like a totally different, his face, the way his mouth, like everything about who he is looks like a different person from the 20 years before when he lost his daughter. And I know that's a lot of time to pass, but once again, the small nuances. They did such a good job to make everybody age the right way. Nick Offerman's a perfect example about how they aged him through that time period. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so good. And the thing that she picks up on was the fact that, he doesn't hear that well out of his right ear. He got the hearing loss in his right ear. And then we see him that next morning when they get the drop on him, because he went to sleep on his right side to cover the bad ear with the good ear up. But in the middle of the night, he rolled over. And so that the good ear is covered up, so he doesn't hear it. And he just like, oh, we're fucked because I rolled over. Like, it's just like, how fucked up is that? It's like, you could have died, and the kid could have died. You could have basically failed again to protect somebody you love because you rolled over in your sleep. And that's the kind of world they live in now. Like, something small like that, you can't roll over in your sleep.
It's nuts. They've made this a very different feel than, say, like The Walking Dead with it. Because The Walking Dead seems like people surviving and there just happens to be zombies. With
Right.
this, they've given you this whole uncertainty about it. Like the scene where the little tentacle fungus things come out of the ground, and then all the dead guys knew where they were.
It's a whole network. So yeah, they communicate through there's like a fungal network throughout everything in this.
Yeah, it's such a different kind of that undead feel than we're used to. It's super refreshing. And like I said, having played the game, I'm excited to see how they keep continuing to evolve the types of, because we've seen a few different variations of them, but they continue to evolve in the game as you progress. So I'm really excited to see how far they take it.
Yes, Mewtwo, we're done doing Last of Us talk. I'll make it very clear when we're done, Mar. But this one more thing I got for this episode was old girl from 2.5 Men. like you're not nearly as smiley and happy as you were on that show, man. Like you're a very different person. And I'm interested to see what they do with her, because like I said, this is very different than the way I've seen her portrayed on television before. She is not happy with this Henry guy. I don't know what Henry did besides that got her brother killed, but yeah, she wants his head on a spike, and killed her own doctor because she wants Henry, because she's just upset. To the point where she just convinces everybody else that Joel and Ellie are somehow with Henry just because they're there. Like, they did nothing but exist. And it's just like, all of a sudden, oh, they must be working with Henry. Henry must have called them in. Everybody round them up and get everybody that's working with Henry. But like, yo, they literally just came into the city. Your people tried to rob and kill them and got killed themselves. They bad. And somehow, Joel and Ellie are the bad guys now. Okay, I see.
We're just passing through. Your boys are the ones who messed up here.
Yeah.
Like, we're supposed to be the dead ones, not the rest of your people. Like, we didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly. Had it gone the way you wanted to, it would have been 2 more bodies out here, and one of them would have been a kid.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of kids, the one with Henry, forgot what he said the kid's name was. Sam, I think. Judging from the way this show has treated every kid not named Ellie, I'm a little worried.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Like, I see, like, every child not named Ellie in this show has met a very unfortunate end so far. And I feel like that's a running theme, and I'm afraid to see it because this kid is with another adult, and I'm like, Joel is going to see another adult fail to protect the kid. Like, that's what's going to happen now. And like, I don't know if I'm ready to see that again. Like,
the character development, and if they stay true to the game, how Joel builds, it's going to be unreal. Because if they've expanded as much as they have already with this series, kind of with the side stories and the, call them side quests, the way they've expanded the story, the depths of what happens with Joel and Ellie throughout the story, like it's going to be unreal. Do you know how many episodes they're going to do for this season? Have they announced?
I believe it's 9. I'm
9?
not positive,
Okay.
but I think it's 9.
So we're pretty much halfway through the season now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're ready to start. Like, it's crazy to think we're ready to start picking up on. You know what I mean? Like, we're ready
How many
to hit that
chapters are in the
apex.
game? Because I know that, like, so far, I think they've been saying to kind of follow in the chapters.
I would need to look it back up. The
okay.
first one was a long game. The second one was longer, but the second one was more open world. You had a little bit more freedom. The first one was very linear, but it was also like a cinematic game where you would play for a little bit, then you would get a cutscene, and then you'd play for a little bit and you'd get a cutscene, which is gorgeous for the game. I don't have any problems with that style of game. Did you ever play like The Evil Within and stuff like that?
No, I didn't actually.
Very similar to that. Like short segments where you'll play chunks and then you'll get a period of like a movie sequence to build the story. Then you'll play through the next piece. Like, great.
Yeah. I played other games from Naughty Dog. Like I played the Uncharted games.
Okay, then you kind of get the gist of how it is.
Yeah. Well, I played 1 through 3. I didn't play 4. It's still sitting on my PlayStation right now. I just haven't played it.
I've got an unopened copy of Assassin's Creed Odyssey that I have yet to open and put on my PlayStation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else with The Last of Us that you want to talk about before we move on to other news?
The actress who plays Ellie, my final thoughts are, after seeing her in Game of Thrones and then now seeing her now, I'm convinced that she is like the most badass 13-year-old little girl on the planet. Like, she goes hard. Seeing her in Game of Thrones, the way she handled herself there, and then now seeing her now, I'm like, okay, she's pretty much set for anything life throws at her at this point.
Basically. One thing, you mentioned the actors from the show that brought something else to mind. Apparently, the actor that plays the character Perry in this episode, the one that was with 2.5 Men lady, was the voice of Tommy in the game.
Nice. That's a cool tie-in.
Yeah. Yes, Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog.
Really, Vince? Really? Okay. Yeah. I'll go ahead and throw this in here now, since, we talked about Naughty Dog. For your dog, if your dog is a naughty dog, it doesn't matter because they can still get things from dog.com. So dog.com is your online dog supplies, shopping, and information destination. Everything your dog needs, from toys to treats and food, is available, including collars and leashes. They even have outdoor gear and water safety gear for your furry friend. So go to dog.com right now. So go to dog.creationworld.com and you can receive up to 64% off your order today. That's dog.creationworld.com to receive up to 64% off today. You happy, Vince? That make you happy?
That was a great plug. Nailed it.
And with that, we'll move on to other news, sir. So last week, we touched on this subject of Netflix and putting a stop to the password sharing. And they put some stuff out and said, hey, this is how password sharing is going to be stopped. This is what we're doing. So apparently, the folks in charge saw how pissed off everybody was. I'm like, oh, let's take that down. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're going to not do some of this stuff. I think it's just going to take a different form because they realized how much of an uproar they caused. It's kind of like what happened with the D&D open gaming license thing that we talked about before, where they were just like, yeah, we're going to update this so that, we get more money out of people when they create stuff. And the community said, fuck you, no, you're not. And basically fought back, and everybody unsubscribed from D&D Beyond. They lost a shit ton of money. Stockholders got pissed. Hasbro was like, what the fuck is going on? They walked that back. Netflix, on the other hand, I think they're still going to do this. They're just going to do it in a different way. They'll probably do like what they did in other countries, like in Latin America and everything, where they're like, yo, what we're going to do is we're just going to charge a premium for you to password share. So other places that are not in your home, it'll cost you, like, I think in certain places like $3 per account that's like connected to yours, but outside of the home account and all that. Which, I mean, there's ways to get around that VPN, and then you're good. But depending on how you want to watch, because if you're watching it on your TV, it's hard to put a VPN on your TV. But if you're watching on your like a laptop and all that, it's kind of. But yeah. So they're really just trying to put an end to password sharing, is what they said to their stockholders, because it's like that's the reason why we're losing money.
I think it's a terrible idea for them to backtrack on that, or not backtrack on it, for them to try to implement some kind of policing system anyways. At this point, it's like, if you allow your kids to do something for a long time, and then let's say like they're allowed to wear their shoes through the house, okay? And you allow your kids to wear their shoes through the house for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, stop. You start punishing them for it. Like the whole old dog, new tricks mentality. They've allowed us to do this since Netflix started streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So now, 10 years later, to come in and go, what you're doing is wrong, stop it. There's nobody in their right mind that's going to do it. I've had this same Netflix account logged in on my PlayStation from like 5 X's ago. She has to be real confused by what's happening right now on her Netflix account. But the point is like, there's no, even like you just said, this quickly, we were already like, oh, we'll just put a VPN on it. And well, it's hard to put VPNs on your TV, not with a smart TV, because now we can download them through Roku just as quick as we can for our computers. Like we're gonna beat the system. If they decide to charge us $5 extra, it's gonna be like the family plan when they upped it that time. When it went from $9.99 to $12.99 to $14.99, because they kept adding it, because you have to, if you have more than 2 people logged in, you can't watch on a third device. So they'll charge us more so more devices can watch. That's the equivalent of what they're going to do. They're going to charge us more because they know we're going to give it to fucking 10 other people.
Exactly. So it's just like, just embrace what you're doing and embrace what this system is. This is how it works now. Like there's all these different streaming services and we share them. It's what we do. All right. Just I can't tell you how many people log into my shit because they know that Travis is gonna have all the things. So Travis, can I see your HBO login? Travis, what's your Disney Plus login? Travis, you got Paramount Plus, don't you? You one of the people that would get that weird ass shit, right? I'm like, yeah, because Star Trek. And they're like, okay, well, let me get your Paramount Plus login. Like, it's just, I accept this. And for a while, I was the only one that had Peacock before the WWE Network got put on Peacock, but I got it because there's no way I wasn't going to watch The Office.
For sure.
It's just like,
when they took it off Netflix, I got Peacock. I had the $4.99 Peacock subscription along with the WWE Network $10 because I wanted to still be able to watch The Office.
Yeah. See, when that happened for me, I've talked about this on our platform and on our shows multiple times, how much I hate ads. Like if there's an ad-free option, I'm taking the ad-free option. So when the network got moved over to Peacock and it was like, yeah, for the $10 version you get this, and I'm like, oh, so I don't have to pay for the network anymore. Okay, cool. Save me $10 a month, because that's how I saw it. Because it's just like I was already paying for that level on Peacock anyway.
For sure.
So I'm just like, okay, because I tried to do it with ads. I've like, there's a few of them that I've tried to do with ads before. Like I tried the Peacock with ads when I first got it, just on principle, because I was so pissed off that I had to pay for this in order to watch The Office. And then like before that, there was a period of time where I was trying to save a little bit of money and I dropped from the ad-free Hulu to the regular Hulu. And I was just, that lasted not even a day. Like I was just like,
what a terrible decision.
Like, why did I do this? Why is there another ad? Oh, fuck, no. like here's your $4. So YouTube Premium. I fought it for a while, and then I got the free trial for a while. I'm like, oh, this is so much better. Oh, this is so much better. And then it came time where it's like, to cancel it. I was just like, nah, I'm keeping it, because like not having to deal with ads every time I look at a YouTube video was just the most beautiful thing in the world to me. And also being able to close out the app completely and keep doing stuff when the audio keeps playing was beautiful for me.
We're getting conditioned for this lifestyle, man. I was playing a game on my phone the other day, and it was like, oh, you've maxed out for the free in-game stuff. $4.99, and now you get all this new stuff to do. And I'm like, hell yeah, boom.
Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
immediately thought, I was like, these motherfuckers suckered me into this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
know?
like the other game, like the games when they're like, you got the option if you're going to play the game to give them like $3.99 or something to get rid of all the ads. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so you mean to tell me I give you $4 and I never see an ad on this game ever again?
That's how this game was. It was like, do this, pay this $4.99, and you don't have any ads. You get add-ons and bonus coins and like all of it. And I was like, for $4, like, hell yeah, let's do it. So I did it, and then I was like, I got fucking just hosed.
Yeah,
they
you
pulled
did
the wool over my face. In-app purchases.
Your job is to make those ads happen. Okay.
That's real life,
man. So like, your job is to annoy me to the point where I pay so ads don't pop up anymore.
She explained it to me that they will do such specific ads that it's like for men between 36 and 42 within 30 miles of Nashville, Tennessee, who browse these websites will get the ad. Like, that's how precise she can be with it. It's nuts. Just crazy what Google can do.
Yeah. Cooking Dash, that's the one that got you. Is Cooking Dash similar to Diner Dash?
Like DoorDash and stuff like that, where they
no. There was a game called Diner Dash back in the day that I had on the computer, and it was it was one of those things where like it was mostly just clicking on things on the screen, but it's like you're like a waitress or a waiter, server, and you're like trying to like manage all these different tables. Like these certain types of people will take longer to eat, but they're also more patient with waiting for their food to get here, or these will be really impatient for their food to get here, but they also eat really fast. And it's just, keeping all the tables managed and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, so this is the same character from Diner Dash, and it's more like a game show. Interesting.
I've played so many mobile games where I play them and then I'll get off of them and then I'll get hooked on them, and it's just like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, Golf Clash.
I haven't played Clash of Clans in a long time. I'm gonna get back on that. That game was fun. It reminded me it was like having Age of Empires on mobile, but not quite. Speaking of which, I haven't played Age of Empires in a while either. I might get back on that, and that'll have me in a lock for a month.
I loved Age of Empires, Civilization, like those style of like turn-based strategy games. Love them.
Yeah. They are. I haven't played Age of Empires 4 except for when there was a closed beta that I got in on, and I played a little bit of that, some PvP stuff, which has never been the most fun part of Age of Empires to me. But I got a chance to see how it worked, and I'm kind of interested to get back into it now. Not yet though. But anything else with Netflix and passwords, Sharon, you want to?
No, it's a bad idea.
Okay. But staying on Netflix, they still are making a Squid Games reality show, right? And apparently the folks who are on the show are not too happy. So here's a story. It came from IGN. Netflix's Squid Game reality show was reportedly an inhumane disaster. Quote, "We were all injured just by going through that experience," one contestant told Variety. So this article comes from IGN from Amelia Zollner. Squid Game, Netflix's 2021 drama about a deadly competition for a massive cash prize, captured hearts for its critical stance on capitalism. Now Netflix is creating a reality spinoff called Squid Game: The Challenge, and it seems that its filming conditions aren't far from the inhumane conditions presented in the original show, with several contestants speaking out about unsafe filming environments and claiming that the game was rigged. Squid Game: The Challenge features 456 participants competing for a massive $4.56 million prize. Okay, I'm trying. Okay, cool. While the participants in the upcoming 10-episode series compete in children's games similar to those in the original Squid Game, Netflix has been careful to let viewers know that, quote, the worst fate is going home empty handed. But based on multiple reports, conditions on the show have been difficult to say the least. Gathering in a former air hangar near London for filming, unpaid participants in Squid Game's reality spinoff reportedly faced freezing temperatures and fatigue. They had been they had been woken up as early as 3 a.m. and remained on set for up to 9 hours, unable to move for long stretches of time due to the game they were playing, according to Variety. At least 10 participants collapsed during the first day of filming, according to Rolling Stone. Medics were called to the set repeatedly, with one contestant even referring to the set as a war zone. There's a lot more to this, but anyway, go to IGN, check out that article, read it through, give Amelia the clicks, because they need them, keep the jobs and all that kind of stuff. But man,
this was a read. This is crazy. My favorite quote in the whole thing was, "It really wasn't a game show. It was a TV show, and we were basically extras in a TV show." Contestants are saying there was no way they were going to win. They were set up for failure, and nobody told them this ahead of time.
And they're not getting paid. Like I said, they go home empty-handed.
Yeah. This is like a McCamey Manor situation where they're like, if somebody actually wins, is there really $4.5 million? Are they going to get anything? Of course the money is there, but it's that question of you're not going to get anything for doing this. You go through all these physical stuff, the mental anguish, and the fact that they're ultimately, from the way the article reads, they're being forced to do these things. Wake up at 3:00, go stand in place for 12 hours and play Simon Says.
Mm-hmm. Whew. Yeah, it's I'm just imagining, if I'm there, the first day, I'm like, no, I'm going home. It's just no, this ain't it. You telling me that many people needed medical attention on the at least 10 participants collapsed during the first day of filming? No, I'm out. Mm-hmm. No, it's not happening. I'm not doing this, especially if they're talking about, this game was rigged and all that kind of shit too. No, I'm out of here. There's no way.
Wait till season 2 comes out and it's Fortnite. And they just start shipping 100 people off to an island. And they're like, don't worry, they're not real.
Yeah, exactly. And they pushing them out of plane like, oh, they have a parachute. They'll be all right.
Real life Hunger Games.
Yeah. Let's see. So, well, before we move on, is there anything else with this Squid Games thing you want to?
I'm going to try, after reading the article, I want to see if I can find any of the actual footage of it yet, if anything's been released, because I just want to know, is it as bad as the people who lost are saying it is?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like if it's that bad, will Netflix be able to pull it off? Are they going to be allowed to show it? Is it actually going to air? But they have in the article that they're starting cast spinoffs for another round in June. So they obviously did something right with it.
So they're anticipating doing more.
Correct.
And, well, I guess they haven't. I guess when they started doing it, all this news hadn't come out yet, right?
Yeah.
So other people might be more reluctant to do it, but also there'd be plenty that'll still do it. So
there's a ton of idiots out there that'll chase clout for just about anything.
Yeah. All right. So what else we got? Last bit of Netflix news that I have here. That 90s show has been renewed for season 2. Good for them. I never watched that 70s show, so I don't really have a connection to this, but I'm glad the people who enjoy this are going to get more of it.
My biggest worry with this, man, is honestly, Travis, is you remember when Anchorman 2 came out and it was just a lot of slapstick basis and jokes played off of the jokes from the first one?
Didn't have any of the true cleverness that the first one did.
Correct. I feel like if they're not careful, that's how they're going to book their way into this with this show, is that they're playing on a lot of the nostalgia of that 70s show, And I hope they don't try to do that for the whole series because they're going to run out of content. You know what I mean? Like they got to build new stories, build new characters. Not everything can just be, oh, you remember when?
Judging from the way Netflix does these things, because that's what Fuller House was, it doesn't bode well for that. It's gonna happen. The difference is Fuller House was, it's Full House again. Just the three, those three, like the two older sisters and the neighbor, are now playing the role of those three, the three dads basically in this one, because literally the oldest daughter DJ is Danny now. Kimmy is Joey, and Stephanie is Uncle Jesse now. It's the same show again. And if you love Full House and you were happy to see them all come back, you were good with that. Like, this is what this show was gonna be. I don't know what about that 70s show or what it really was about it that drew people into it. So I'm not sure how it'll play with other people if they do the same thing they did with Fuller House. But judging from what Netflix has done before, it's what's going to happen.
Al said she watched the whole first season. It was really good. So maybe it's just if you were a fan of that 70s show, you'll really love that 90s show then. Because I'm like you. I didn't get into it. I watched the occasional episode. Like, I get the story behind what it is. Like, I understand it. But for me, that 90s show didn't catch my eye. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. It's, like I said, kind of a carbon copy, just set 20 years later.
Right. Yeah. So let's move on. The Grammys happened last night.
Yes, they did.
Exactly. But there were a few notable things that happened. Viola Davis is now he's in the EGOT club now. Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony, all four of those. So congratulations to her. Her audiobook got a Grammy last night. But a new category was introduced to the Grammys last night for a best video game score soundtrack. And it was won by Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That was actually very heartening for me. It was like, okay, so people are actually acknowledging the things that happen in gaming, because it's just like the acting that takes place in gaming now. The music in games is fantastic. Like, I just finished God of War Ragnarok, and the music in that game is phenomenal. Like, give them their flowers. Like, it's just like, I'm so happy about them like acknowledging this now, because I didn't play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think the last Assassin's Creed game I played was Unity. So that was like 2014. Once they switched over and did this new style of Assassin's Creed they did with Assassin's Creed Origins, it stopped feeling like Assassin's Creed to me when I was watching it. And like, this is just an action game now. So
I loved the original. Assassin's Creed 3 is one of my favorite games.
Yeah. My favorite Assassin's Creed was actually 4, Black Flag.
Black Flag, the pirate game, was also amazing.
I did like 3 also a lot though, but 4 was my favorite one.
I think we're seeing this a lot in pop culture across the board now when it comes to video games and esports, because ESPN is streaming e-games on the Ocho now. You can find like competitive gaming on there. Through Title IX and stuff, universities are giving scholarships for e-gaming for men's and women's sports as part of a sports team. So I think because of pop culture making it blow up the way it has, the Grammys giving it for best video game score is just the start. You know, we'll start seeing it before long, where video games will be in the big mass eye for the media. This is just the start, in my opinion, because this is, like you said, 25, 30 years past due, because there have been games. Final Fantasy VII would have killed to have a Grammy nomination for best score, because that stuff was amazing.
Like, I still hear that Midgard song from the beginning. Yeah. Like, I still hear that in my head. As soon as you said that, like, I heard the song.
7 and 8 both were phenomenal scores. I'm 90% sure that they were done by the same guy. And looking at it now, I'm like, it's well past time to give these guys their roses for what they do.
Yeah. Let's see. But speaking of video games, when you're playing video games, you need some energy. And the best way to get that energy is with W. So let's talk about W. W is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like other energy drinks. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. W contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. The product is made in the USA in an FDA inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. W has handpicked what they believe to be the 10 most critical ingredients for focus and concentration. W contains important aminos and vitamins that canned energy drinks simply don't have. W uses Neurofactor, a patented all natural coffee cherry extract to help fuel you. This ingredient is what gives W its laser focus and fast reflex effects, making it especially perfect for gamers. They disclose full ingredient amounts, and products will never contain fillers or artificial colors or dyes. You always know exactly what you're getting when you drink W. W is also sugar free, and like I mentioned, maltodextrin free, and it's also keto friendly. So go to w.creatiaworld.com and use the code Creatia to receive 10% off. That is w.creatiaworld.com. Use the code Creatia and receive 10% off your order today. Moving on, no. What else we got here? We talked about The Last of Us earlier, just so you all are aware. Super Bowl's next Sunday. Well, this coming Sunday. And in anticipation of that, they're actually releasing the next episode of The Last of Us early. It's dropping on Friday night.
Nice.
So, you won't have to turn away from the big game to watch The Last of Us. You can just watch it on Friday or Saturday. Just you can get around to that. Because I was actually wondering about them. Like, man, I'm going to have to watch that show on Monday morning before we do the show. Because I'm definitely going to be watching the Super Bowl, and I'm probably going to be intoxicated. So
I was going to ask, out of curiosity, if you were a football fan.
I am. I definitely enjoy football. I'm always having a sadder year when the Bears aren't good, but
I'm a Titans fan, so I can relate to that. You guys, the Bears and the Titans are a lot alike, to where either we start real strong and we get our hopes up, and then we kind of tank it by the end of the season, or the opposite, will just be absolutely terrible, and then those last 4 or 5 games turn it on and we'll just barely miss the playoffs or something. Like, yeah.
And then you see teams with losing records make the playoffs, and you're like, oh well, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, damn Bucks somehow with an 8-9 record. Like, you literally have a losing record, but you made the playoffs. Of course, you got bounced in the first round, but you still made the playoffs.
If the Titans had beat the Jaguars the last game of the season, we would have hosted a playoff game with a losing record. Like, how the fuck does that even happen? Like, in professional sports.
But yeah. Last thing that I've got here. Hogwarts Legacy reviews have started dropping. I got some of them here on Metacritic just to see how it's been doing. Overall has a Metacritic score of 85, so pretty good. See, we got I think IGN gave it a 9. We got some lower scores here. One of them was Games Radar gave it a 70 out of 100. Let me see if I can find that one, because they made a point that I want to. There it is. Just a quick little excerpt from it. With its stunning recreation of beloved Harry Potter landmarks and thrilling combat, Hogwarts Legacy definitely has its moments. Sadly, it tries to do too much all at once and never quite settles into a comfortable rhythm, or leverages the player experience against the established laws of the wizarding world. So, Games Radar says they're trying to do too much. But others are, saying like, it has its flaws, but the overall experience of being in Hogwarts and, doing all the Hogwarts things overwhelms that and makes it, a very enjoyable experience. Because in the end, when I'm playing a game, am I entertained and am I having fun? Like that's what's important to me. And it seems like that's what happens when you play this game. So I'm in. What are you thinking? Have you looked at any of the scores or anything?
I haven't seen the scores, but like I've been looking at some of the gameplay footage, and for me, it's one of those too early to tell things because all the early gameplay footage is either A, beta tested, or B, running on super high end computers that aren't going to give you the real world feel to it. So I'm taking all of this with, worth a grain of salt, so to speak, because I'm not going to get my hopes up till it's in my PlayStation and I see it in front of me, or you have it for yours and you're playing it and I know tangible,
Right.
real world, this is good or not. Because a lot of these critics are jaded. You know what I mean? Like they play through something and they're like, oh, this isn't the greatest game I've ever played, therefore it has to be trash.
Yeah,
It can't just be a normal good game anymore. It either has to be a blockbuster or nothing.
And that's the problem when you're somebody that plays games for a living and rates games for a living. It's like you're more concerned about small things that the average person is not. Like this is, it feels repetitive or something, blah, blah, blah. Like I've seen this a million times before. Like, yeah, but most people haven't because they don't play games for a living. Like there was a thing when people were saying on the God of War that came out in 2018, the repeated like enemies feel like the same kind of enemies over and over again. And like, we're tired of seeing them. Like, no, not really. Like it was, I still enjoyed the fuck out of it the whole time. Like, oh, well, Ragnarok had so much more enemy variety. I'm like, I didn't notice. It's just
Breath of the Wild, Legends of Zelda is one of those games. If you've played one Zelda game, you get the general understanding of how to beat the bosses in the temples. They kind of use the same formula in every game. So for me, it's not like, oh no, Breath of the Wild 2 is just going to be Breath of the Wild with a new coat of paint. No, it might be in a lot of ways, but we've never fought these bosses. Do they use a copy and paste in a lot of their hit systems and like platforming stuff? Yeah, because you know how long it would take for them to reprogram the entire game?
But also because it works.
Yeah. You throw the bomb in the dragon's mouth, but then this game, it might not be a dragon. This game, it might be a fucking bear or something, they use a lot of the same general ideas, but they at least change the story, change the dynamics, kind of change it up a little bit on you. And I'm hoping that's what this Harry Potter game is it might be a lot of the same targeting systems and stuff we've seen in other games, but we've never got to do it in the Harry Potter world.
Right. And like I said, what I've seen, it looks like the thing that's going to get me into Harry Potter. But one more thing where'd it go? There was the IGN review. It's a whole long thing. I'm looking for one line here that I saw. In nearly every way, Hogwarts Legacy is the Harry Potter RPG I've always wanted to play.
Yeah.
Like, boom. Like, it's just, so they're giving you what you want is what I'm seeing here. Like, all this other shit that y'all are talking about sounds like doesn't really fucking matter.
Are you going to be a jaded fan, or are you going to be a fan that's really excited because you get to play an open world Harry Potter RPG?
Yeah.
Like, that's the side of the coin. Like, I look at it like I watch a lot of wrestling, Travis. You know that. Matt knows that. I watch a lot of wrestling. I watch wrestling with a very much more critical eye than a casual wrestling fan because it's what I do. I feel like video game testers are going to be exactly what you said. It's the exact same thing. These guys are going to nitpick the hell out of it. When a casual fan like me or you, or even somebody who's a little bit more hardcore into gaming besides just a casual fan plays it, like, just enjoy it for what it is. We say it in wrestling a lot, like, don't read too much into it. Just enjoy the ride. Like, that's the way this is going to be. You get to be in a Harry Potter RPG. Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Let's see, there's one here where Guardian gave it a 60. They're like, Hogwarts Legacy starts to feel like countless open world games of the past decade once you've been playing it for more than 15 hours. Once you've been playing it more than 15 hours, it starts to feel like so for 15 hours, it doesn't feel like that. And it starts to feel like that at 15 hours into the game.
Okay. I would feel good with a 25-hour game before I felt like I was bored with it. Like if I put almost 30 hours into a game for gameplay wise, I would be all right with that.
Exactly. And it's like, but in that, you give it a 6 out of 10. Like, it's just, I don't understand. But like it's one of those where I usually like to play it for myself, and I read. That's why I don't just look at the score. I read why they gave it that score. And if the reasons why they gave it, why they marked it down, don't bother me, then I'm in.
Yeah.
It's just.
Does this guy sound like he hates the game for the same reasons I would hate the game?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why you need to actually read the reviews, people. Don't just look at the score.
Yeah.
Like the IGN thing I said earlier, like the dude that gave it a 9 out of 10 is clearly a Harry Potter fan that just loved the idea of being in a Harry Potter world. If that's what you're looking for and you align with that, you'll probably like this game. That's what these reviews are for. They're not for you to be like, oh, this game is better than this game because this one got a 9 and this one got an 8. No, they were reviewed by people. And it's subjective no matter how objective they try to make themselves seem.
100%. I bet you a guy who plays Madden for a living is probably not going to enjoy a Harry Potter game, or vice versa.
Exactly. But yeah, one thing about Harry Potter, though, I understand, your Hogwarts house is very important, but I heard also your wand is important.
Yeah.
So it's just like, is it the thing where you choose your wand, or is it like, you get your wand is chosen for you, like the house?
Oh, no, sir. The wand chooses the wizard.
Okay.
Like you could pick, theoretically in that universe, you could pick up a wand and not have any magic with it at all because you don't connect to that wand. Like the whole connection was that Harry's wand, nobody was supposed to be able to use it. And it literally just flew to him ultimately. His wand became his wand when he walked into the wand shop because they were like, maybe this one will be it. And it was. So the whole lore behind it is you don't choose your wand chooses you.
Got it.
Yeah, the school can't even pick it for you. You go to the wand shop and you get paired with it based on like the feel and like in Harry's situation, literally it pretty much just rocked itself off the fucking shelf for him, so he knew which one to pick.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about a different kind of wand, shall we?
Yes.
And when you get a wand, a great place to get a wand is mysensualsecrets.com. So mysensualsecrets.com boasts one of the largest catalogs on the web across all the varying levels of adult toy categories, with toys for him, for her, and for both. The product line is extensive compared to other competitors in the sexual wellness industry. Orders ship within 24 hours, so customers are always satisfied with both the price and the quality. MySensualSecrets.com has top-rated reviews and exceptional customer service. So go to sensual.creationworld.com to receive 10% off your order today. That is sensual.creationworld.com and receive 10% off your order today. Now, also speaking of Hogwarts Legacy, I've mentioned before, I'm going to be streaming that game Friday after the Creatia Conversation. Right now, that episode of the Creatia Conversation is supposed to be me and Mara. That might change before then. But if it is, what's going to happen is I'll be on that show with Mara. We'll end that show. I'll eat lunch. I'll grab some Dubby and come back up here and be ready for, a streaming session sponsored by Dubby. But yeah. It'll be a whole Hogwarts Harry Potter marathon gaming thing happening with a whole lot of Dubby going on. And that is on Friday. I understand there are people who got the game early. If you can get it like up to 72 hours early, if they got like special editions of the game and all that kind of stuff, I wasn't going to give them $100 for the game. So it's yeah. But I'll be streaming it Friday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm stuck till April. I gotta wait for the PS4 copy.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here, Will?
No, I think that pretty much covered it. Last of Us was amazing, so I'm gonna praise you for a little bit for being like, check it out, come on, and worth the watch. Anybody who hasn't seen it yet, I was holding out at first, like I said, and having a chance to sit down and watch it, well worth it. I'm hyped for Friday now to see the next episode.
Yeah. Well, all right then. Thank you for joining us today, Will. I appreciate you being on, helping fill in because Matt's out all week. He's moving and being a responsible adult right now. And I'm just like, well, first of all, sir, how dare you? Like,
ain't nobody got time to be an adult.
Exactly. Like, what the fuck? But anyway, thank you. Also, all of you who are watching live right now, thank you. Those of you who are not watching live and watching later, you can watch us live. We would encourage you to do so by going to twitch.tv/Creatia World. And while you're there, you can throw us a subscription if you want to throw us some support. A good way to do that, though, for free is if you have Amazon Prime. Because if you have Amazon Prime, you've got Prime Gaming, and that gives you one free subscription on Twitch per month. Matt has mentioned this before, but you have to do it from your actual computer. You can't do it from the mobile app. It's a weird thing. And you also have to re-up it every month. It doesn't do it automatically. So, yeah, do that. And if you don't give it to us, give it to somebody. We really would appreciate you doing it. You're on Twitch, right, Will?
I am.
Yeah, throw it at Will if you want to throw it at somebody. Throw it at somebody is my point. Don't let Jeff Bezos sit on his Scrooge with Duck Mountain of money, all right? Just give us some of that Bezos money. But if you're going to watch later, or you can still watch live on youtube.com/Creatia World. Throw us a subscription there if you are. We really appreciate that as well. It helps our numbers, help bump us up in the algorithm, get us to partner status on YouTube. That'd be fucking phenomenal. We would love that. But also, if you're in the middle of something else on the internet and you just want to, stop by and see us along the way, you can go to pornhub.com/model/Creatia World. So after you fap, you come and watch us. Or you can watch us and then fap, or watch us while you fap. I'm not here to judge you. Do what you want to do.
You don't yuck any yums.
Exactly. But yeah, we are the number one news source for all that nerd-ish on Pornhub, so watch us there as well. We actually have some Pornhub exclusive content coming soon, which is going to be a lot of fun to do. So be sure to check that out when that happens. But if you want to toss us some other bucks, yourself, we got patreon.com/Creatia World, where you can also get some extra stuff happening there, like Return to Wrestling with myself and Matt Ritter, where I make him watch old WCW stuff and I revel in his misery. Also, there is Multiverse with myself and Mara the Shark Watkins, where we're talking, a lot of animated comic book properties and all that kind of stuff. We're doing Constantine. I keep forgetting what the subtitle of that movie is next. We're actually recording that this evening. So that will be dropping soon on Patreon. But if you're just looking to listen to us, you can listen to us on podcast services everywhere. The link tree will take you to all that. But the best way to learn about everything we're doing and what we're all about is at creatiaworld.com. Go there, learn all about us, who we are, what we do, everything about us, from our favorite drink to our Hogwarts houses. It all goes back to Harry Potter again for some reason. I don't know how this world got this way, but that's how we are.
This is where we live now.
Yeah. But you also can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at It's Creatia World. That is at ITSCREATIA World. Also on Facebook at Facebook.com/Creatia World. And while you're on Facebook, you can go to Facebook.com/group/Smacking It Raw, and you can check out everything from our other podcasts on Friday night, Smacking It Raw, featuring the Warden Matt Ritter and Vince Daddy Delgado every Friday night live at midnight, 11 p.m. Central. And I think that's it. Don't forget, you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Lord_Cussalott. That is at LORD_CUSSALOTT. Will, tell them where they can find you and everything you do. Plug your shit, sir.
Travis, first off, it's always a pleasure, brother, having a chance to spend the afternoon with you. Anytime I get to be on Creatia World and be one of the guys, even for just the day, I love it. I am the Will Gray. I'm the host and lead writer for Botch Spots and Chair Shots. You can find us at botchspotsandchairshots.com or anywhere you do anything on the internet. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, unsubscribe, but then subscribe again. Leave a comment telling me how great I am or how terrible I sound. Either way, it helps the algorithm.
And we appreciate you as well, Will. Thank you for being on. And we appreciate all you out there watching and listening. We'll catch you tomorrow. Will be back tomorrow.
Me and Vince, right?
Yeah. Yep, it'll be you and Vince. We'll see y'all then. Until then, we out.
Peace.